You know, technology is a wonderful thing until it doesn't work. Good night. Let's get started with this show. Welcome back to What's in My Drawers Golf Talk. Jim McCleary here. Why is it What's in My Drawers? Because it's what's in the drawers in the golf shop. And it's about golf club repairs, fittings, and reviews, all so your scores can go low. Why? Because old club makers and club fitters are pack rats. That's me. So let's get started. Let's talk about some golf club repairs and fittings and whatnot. All righty. So we'll get back to this. Let's throw one of those on there. So I had this whole thing set completely up, lights, the whole 9 yards, everything set up. I go to get on here, and all of a sudden, the camera that I use is not seen by the computer. I'm thinking, well, isn't that just a wonderful thing of life? And so I said, okay. And I don't need that either. There we go, found them again. Okay, stuff we did. We did a couple of things this week. Oh, my goodness gracious. Let's get this thing going right. All right, did a couple of things this week. Built a driver from a Wilson. The last remaining Wilson Dynapower. So if you're looking for a Wilson Dynapower, they are either a completed club on sale or they don't exist. In fact, the ones that I have, I'll probably be getting rid of them shortly because they're getting replaced by another Dynapower, and they will be available sometime in the January timeframe, I believe, which takes me to our topic. But they're getting really close to the end. So if you find one that you just like, and it may be worthwhile to buy a whole club and have it reshafted if you tend to like these golf clubs. That's what we did here. You notice the green shaft. It is that guy, the Acura GX. Did a fitting, and this combination for him was just a bullet. He needed about 11 degree, and what we were doing is we were taking the 10 and cranking it up a little bit. They're out of those, at least for my being able to touch them. So we got a 9 and cranked it up 2 degrees, and honestly, it's probably going to be a hotter golf club. So not too bad. We enjoy that one. The other one that we've got going on is we built some Mizunos. Those are the Mizuno Hot Metals, and we use the Acras. You can see over here the I series. Went into them very fine, and some MCC4s. Now, the thing with these, we had to bend them upright a little bit, which I'm finding I'm doing quite a bit lately. But I'm telling you what, the new Mizuno clubs are outperforming the older ones, not by a tremendous amount, but when I throw them into a fitting system, there is market improvement. There really, really is. There's market improvement. And that's going to be, in case, let's start there. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, hit that stuff across the bottom. We're past 40,000. We're on our way to 50 now. We might as well claim the next hump here, and we'll go from there. The next video coming out is I tested. We just had like a long weekend, and I tested out all my sets of golf irons that I had, and they reach back easily 10 years. So I've got what I'm currently in the bag, what I used before it was currently in the bag, and then I went to, and they were all OEMs, and they were different OEMs, and then the other two. So I've got a Wilson, a Callaway, a Mizuno, a New Level, and I also have an Orca. For those of you in the UK, I used to be a dealer for Orca, and I have one of their first lefty sets that they ever made. And boy, oh boy, I still like it. The thing's just tremendously weak, and that's what the video is going to be about. All righty. And just before I was going to run in here and sit down and go, whew, glad I got that done. And I just finished gluing up another shaft, a VRTX Red, into an old Ping. Oh, what is it? A Ping? It's the 200. No, yeah, 200 series Ping. So one of the big flat round ones. We're putting it into there. So therein lies. That was the week. We did a bit more, but that was the highlight of it, and that's where we did. This last Sunday, I called it. I had the ultimate redneck weekend. I got the first thing, came down here and hit some balls for the testing for the golf clubs. Did all those, and then After that, I got to go work on a whiskey barrel, making a clock for Mrs. McGolf. And then we got to shoot some guns, just doing some target practice, and then cook some barbecue on the grill, which I did not take pictures of, but it was a pork loin wrapped in bacon, very, very decent. And then ended the day with a dram, so pretty good. That was into my week and my weekend. All right, so let's get on the topic here of discussion. The PGA show. PGA show is coming up, right? It's going to be in January. It's normally around the third week of January. Salute everybody. Buckner's 10 from Augusta. And the PGA show is, probably the largest trade show for those actually in the industry. This is not for we have a Columbus golf show up here, and it does get a lot of attention, but it is basically for golfers to go see what golf courses that have stuff left over, golf shops that have stuff left over. And then there's a couple of entertainment things like long drive. People, last time I looked, it was a whole aisle of people trying to sell you credit cards, that kind of stuff. That is not what this is. The PGA show is for industry, we'll call them industry professionals, meaning that you'll have people like me that own golf shops. You'll have PGA professionals. You'll have professional golfers. You have people, the OEMs are the ones that are displaying, not necessarily in that realm, right? But it covers everything. It'll cover clothes, and everything that goes on a golfer is going to be represented there. Socks, shoes, shoelaces, belts, pants, shorts, shirts of every shape and size, hats of every shape and size, jewelry, watches, sunglasses, skin lotion, just everything, purses, you name it, it's there. Plus displays for golf shops, the professional golf displays. There'll be the trinket type stuff, where I call is divot repair tools, tees, giveaway bags, that the kind of stuff you might see on a scramble, or the stuff that goes in your bag. Golf ball companies, shaft companies, although not as many as there used to be. Grip companies, although not as many as there used to be. You'll see travel agents, and then the tech side of it is getting a lot larger, i.e. simulators. The putter simulator interests me all kinds. They look really, really cool, and they have an opportunity to teach and to fit, for that matter, but it's at an exorbitant cost. Plus, you have this stuff that makes what I would call launch monitors that turn into the simulators, and then you have the golf club companies, right? And not all of them attend anymore, so it's right there and there. So normally what we've done is we've gone, and it's a rev up, and the reason why it's a rev up for me is the very first day is the Acra demo day. Acra demo day obviously is the shafts, and I do a lot with Acra. It's just fun to get together with a bunch of these guys that do the same thing I do, from mom and pops like me all the way up to cool clubs, and those guys will get in there, and it's a neat little setup, and that I enjoy that. That's a lot of fun. And then the first day is demo day, where you get to go out and swing and hit golf clubs, talk with people, see different things, get to see putters. There's some new things that might show up at the demo day. Last time I was there, they had KitchenAid out there and had outdoor appliances. It was really kind of neat. But there's lots of different things. They're giving classes. And then the very next day after that is the beginning of the show, which is Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And normally what happens is the very first day it's jam-packed. People are all over the place. The next day there's about a half to two-thirds of that, and the very last day there's about a quarter. And that, much like most conventions, I would imagine, are like that. Now, what we've done in the past, and I thought that was kind of fun, is do what we do right now. At the end of every day, what we would do is we would sit down at the hotel, and I would be outside, and we would talk about what we saw. But I didn't have this program. I didn't have this program where I could take pictures and download it and show you what I was seeing. That's a little different. And so the technology has kind of caught up with us a little bit. I think that would be kind of fun. And then the videos that would come afterwards of the show. It's a lot of walking. It's in fact, last time we were there, Miss McGolf had a busted foot, and she was up like a trooper getting it done. But hopefully, we don't go through that again. But the question is if we're going out and doing this, how many of you guys are would watch literally every day, right? Even possibly even Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday we're taking off. There's just so much of that I can do, and be watching it like this, like you're seeing here, and watching that, and then being able to interact and send questions. Right? You guys can say, "Hey, well, have you seen this? Hey, have you seen that?" And maybe we can go take a look at it, because I think this year I'm going to go through what I normally do. This is about a week-long process. What we do is you go to the website and it shows you all the vendors, right? And all of them. And you got to narrow down what kind of categories are you looking for. And then I go and I say, okay, these categories are the ones I see. And then we try and visit some, it's just like seeing old friends in a lot of cases. And then the other ones are maybe there's something interesting out there. The new golf product aisle is one of my favorites. You always find one or two things. That's how I found my dimple chairs, those chairs that look like golf balls. They sit really nice too, by the way, and go through that. So the question is, would you guys want to see something like that, or is it a waste of my time going down there because most of the companies that I deal with here have already made their rounds? I'm looking for something new. So there it is. That's my little spiel. Let's answer some questions. Let's go to the top. Here we go. Matt made it on first this time around. So, guys, I say check out who's going to be at the show that you want to work with, and then make a decision. Question, well, there you go. Question, when is it time to replace a driver and a putter? Good questions. Replacing the driver is different than replacing the putter. Normally, what I would say, and we've talked about this one before, the way that technology evolves with drivers is faster than in irons. So in irons, you could go several more years before considering a replacement than you would a driver. Now, every year a driver comes out and they say, we make this it go farther, faster, lighter, straighter, all whatever it is you want it to be. That's grand, and they're not lying, but it's incremental increases, right? The old saying is, I walk down this line of OEMs, and by the end of the aisle, I was hitting a 320-yard drive because every club promised me 10 more yards. Well, we know that's just an argument for against the whole idea of just adding 10 more yards. Now, if you've been fit, say in the last 2 to even 4 years, and you've not had a medical issue, or if something has occurred in your life to change your game, chances are you can go 4 years ish, right? 4 years ish before the next technology leap shows up that would benefit you. All right, that would benefit you. 4, maybe 5 years. 6, maybe 8 years for irons. And that's just on average, right? It's not like, hey, Jim said every 5 years you need to go do this. No, that's not the case. But in that 4, it used to be 8 and 10 years. All right, 8 and 10 years. It's almost been cut down by half. All right, so 4-ish to 6 or 8-ish, 6-ish probably. My video would tell you differently. What's different? It just depends on what it is that you're looking for. The other one here is the putter. I'm kind of a putter snob. I don't like changing putters a lot, even and I don't give them away. And I have got 3 in my lifetime. I've gotten 1, 2, 3 putters that have been in my bag. 3 putters. It was when I started taking golf seriously. And well, 4. Sorry, 4. And the other one, the second one was because wow, it's a neat looking putter. So I had what was called a positive putter. It was out of Indianapolis, and I got that at a golf show that we were just talking about, the Indianapolis Golf Show, and or no, it was the Columbus Golf Show, as a matter of fact. And I ended up buying it, and I used that thing forever. And then I started in the business, and I kept it for a long, long time because nothing could beat it. And then came out the Toulon Indianapolis. Kind of funny how that is. And I used that for quite some time until all of a sudden my swing with it just disappeared. And so that had to go. And then I went then I got into this Makefield, had the Makefield and there's the shortest amount of time a putter's been in my bag. Although the Makefield is still very, very good. I like it. In fact, I like that latest one they have out there. But I won that thing from Lab Golf from My Golf Spy, and I would have never bought it because of the way that it looked. But it is a great putter. So again, what would be the difference? I know guys with basement fulls of putter because they can't keep their concentration long enough. What I would do is give it if it's giving you fits, just throw it in a bag, give a deep breath, and pull it back out a little bit later and see what you can do. I would certainly be a fan of having 2 putters in the house and making them both be fit to you and making them different. And then that way, when one is just not feeling the karma coming off of it, go get the other one and go putt and have a day with it. But when would you replace it? Well, when the grip is worn out, go get a new grip. Some of the times what you get is a face dent. Maybe you've hit something, or you've been playing it with so long that it starts cupping. That happens on insert putters quite a bit. I would change it that. Now this is several years, mind you, and then I've seen one where the parts fall off of it. If you got parts falling off it, it's time for it to go. All righty. Phil Kirby, the curb stomp. Okay. I got a job building clubs after watching your videos during COVID. Okay. I cut my teeth through COVID. I was obsessed buying everything I needed from eBay and just building and rebuilding until, he's got a second one here. Until you had all figured out. Still a couple of off jobs. Long way to go. I come to you for answers. Thanks, man. Really appreciate the content. Literally, well, there's a good one. Literally, look at that. Literally got a man a job. Well done, Phil. Good job. And Phil, keep in mind that that's how I did it when I took a class up at Golf Works. I took every club that I ever owned, and we took it, and I drove up there every day, which was an hour and 45 minutes away, and I disassembled and reassembled every golf club that I had every day. And in fact, I had an old Callaway, like the original Big Bertha, were the ones that are about that big around. And I took that one and I actually repainted it. So yeah, I was a busy camper, and it just went from there. So congrats, and don't be afraid to ask questions. Yep, Matt's saying it's awesome. Yep. I don't know how I landed it right now. I just want to let you all know. Well, good for you, bud. Good for you. Matt says Jim is a wealth of knowledge. Thank you very, very much. Manuel, what do you say? Hello, Jim and Rob, and the rest of us. Better Builders by Jim. You guys are awesome. I tell you what, you guys are awesome. You guys beat me like a drum in golf, but by God, this is fun. Okay, he put together a TPT nitro shaft for a customer and his Q10 driver. The TPTs are supposed to be really nice. I'd like to hear more about that one. Shaft has no spines, like $700. No doubt. Did he bring it to you, or did you have to go get it? So the TPT is what he's talking about. TPT stands for something, and what they do is golf shafts are made in a particular way. Okay. The original way was that you had these what they call sheets of prepreg, and prepreg was literally the graphite and strands that were glued together, and they had a grain. And what you did is you layered these grains and these thicknesses, however the shaft manufacturer wanted, to give you the torque, the flex, the weight, how the profile, how they work, the whole 9 yards. And graphite is a tremendous has tremendous variance in it, in that, unlike steel where you roll it and then you bend it or you swedge it, this one you could change the patterns, and it's just amazing the things that you can do with it. All right, so everybody knows that part of it, but then what you would do is you would wrap this thing in cellophane or a cellophane, and what you do is you hang it on a tree and you roll it into a cooker, and this cooker, the cellophane would go in there and it would shrink up and create this pressure that would go on the shaft, and you wrap these prepreg around a mandrel, so that's what gives it its shape, and so that cellophane squeezes down and acts like a ginormous clamp. And then when you get it all hot, all that epoxy gets together and voila, forms a shaft. Then you peel off the cellophane. You do maybe a little sanding if you don't like the shape. Some do, some don't. That's basically in the quality of the build. And then they put their labels and their tape on it, do some testing to make sure they're correct, and out the door it goes. Now, TPT builds theirs in a higher quality fashion, just like Emmanuel's saying. There's no spine, and that means that's a high quality build, or they're using the second way you make it, and you're using it by a strain of graphite, just one string, and you're doing what's called a wound graphite. All right, a wound graphite. And that wound graphite's much like a bait caster reel that gets out there and it goes around, and there literally is no spine. I don't think that's what it is, because the wound shafts are extraordinarily consistent, but they're brutally stiff. That's just the give and take. Now, what you can do is take your time and ensure that your pieces of prepreg come together, and so they marry up, and you literally wouldn't have a spine. But what they do is they put these things into autoclaves, and these autoclaves do some sort of different kind of heat that applies to it, and it comes out, and it's just a different way of building. I don't know if it's more expensive or not, but what it is that it's different, and they're charging a premium for it. So there you go. So that's it. And that's where they go. I do hope it performs as well. I just hope that I hope it works out. The QI10, I see them come in. They come in waves. The Q10 is like, yeah, it works good. I hit a bunch, and as long as it's married up, that Fuji shaft that comes with it tends to work out pretty good. I've seen others not so much. So that's pretty cool. All righty. Jim, do you happen to know the tip diameter of the Wilson Staff CB? It's 355. I am pretty positive it's 355. Give me a minute. Well, I drilled it out. I am pretty certain that it's 355. Wilson doesn't mess with that kind of stuff. Their blades and their CBs are 355, and their Dynapowers and their other ones are 370s. John, what do you say, buddy? Greetings, everyone, and fellow golfers from Myrtle Beach. Nice. Wedges. Are cavity back wedges considered more forgiving, like Cleveland's Zip Cores or Edison's, especially for a 20-plus handicap? The answer to that question is yes. And that's how I explain it, John. In fact, even though they're taking them out, hopefully they're replacing them. Is Callaway has a CB wedge as well. Now, let's talk about this. All right. The way I describe it is wedges are like big old fat blades. All right. There's no cavity. There's a lot of weight on the bottom, a ginormous fin at the top. And when you get off center, it's pretty brutal. All right. However, because the club is so short, it's manipulated very easily, and missing the middle in a hard way is pretty hard to do unless you're really digging it or flailing with it, okay? The CB, on the other hand, or the cavity back, allows you to miss it and not be as penal. That is the idea of a cavity back, okay? You can go out there and miss it. And now, what goes with cavity backs and wedges? Normally some really wide soles, okay? And so those guys that hit down and you like get stuck and they almost throw themselves around, that doesn't happen because the soles are so big you virtually can't get stuck, and that happens. My buddy Bob is an excellent golfer, and he's got one, and he's either chipped a few in, which I'm sure he has, but every time I play him, the spin on this thing bites, it checks up where he wants it to, and he gets it through. And he's not a 20 plus handicapper. He is easily at that 10 or better. All right. And he uses these things because it fits his game. Okay. Because it fits his game. But yeah, they're a little more forgiving and they tend to be a little bit lighter. All right. And so you can manipulate them. Manuel, Phil, fitting and building clubs to help golfers play better is a really good feeling. I agree. It's like being a NASCAR crew chief when your driver wins. Good job, man. Good job. Manuel, I like that. There's Kent saying congrats to Phil. Good for him. All righty. There's Krister. Hello from Sweden. Hope is well with you and Robin. Thank you, sir. Hope same with you. Hopefully you're let's go through this year without getting another cold, brother. What do you think? And he's going to do his iron fitting. You knew that was coming. I'd like to see how that one works out. I saw a couple of that. You've been getting into some of that. If you guys check out Krister's feed on Instagram, Krister's been hunting around and getting some local drinks as well. Good for him. I didn't know Sweden was real big with some of that stuff, but congrats, sir. Well done. All righty. Steven from Tennessee shot an 83-84 this weekend. Not bad. Not bad. Averaging 2 to 3 double bogeys per round. That's really good. Like to hear that. 83-84 is very respectable. Mark Nat. I went to the PGA 2 years ago and really didn't get much out of it. Talked to a few grip and shaft companies, but not much else value for a club builder. That's true, Mark. That is true. Now, back when we first started, because this would make if we went every year, we would be in either 20 or 21, I think. But we didn't go in COVID. Well, we went at the beginning of COVID, didn't go the next time because I wasn't going to wear a mask. And then we just didn't go the last time. This would probably make number 19. And honestly, if we do go, it's probably our last. And that's what we're going to do is do our last hurrah. So we might go out high energy. But as far they used to have, Mitchell used to go, Golfsmith used to go, Golf Works used to go, and you could see all kinds of stuff. Even Golf Mechanics used to go. I would love it if Golf Mechanics went. Oh, that man is an absolute just dream to talk to. He's always got ideas going around, and it's just a great time. And it's just fun to be around that guy. I would love to see those guys show back up, and I think it's a missed opportunity, because club making for a while was not very popular, and so that was the reason why they didn't go, because they weren't getting all the orders, they didn't see any benefit out of it, and it's literally because a lot of the club makers were garage club makers, right? They weren't associated with a professional group like a PCS or an ICG or the AGWP, I think is what they're called, or something along that lines in order to be able to get in. Otherwise, you were paying. And so now, out of a hobby, we'll call them hobbyists, out of a hobbyist thing, now you got to pay for entry fee, you got to pay for the tame down, the whole 9 yards, and all it is a fun time. So if you're really tore up with it, like Phil is, maybe he can get his people to send him down there. It's quite an expense out of pocket, and that could drive a lot of people away too. And so that's what we got to look forward to. Every year we've done it. Every year we stayed in the same spot every year, save one or two, and it's always with the Point Orlando. It's the one really close to the ale house, and it's about a 3/4 of a mile walk to get in there. And the funny part is that you would think we'd be on the other side. You walk across to our parking lot, you walk past this really fancy hotel, across the street, and you're on their property. But now you got to walk another 2 city blocks in order to get through the building complex and then to the area that we are interested in, which is the golf equipment. We got to walk through the beautiful people section, which is the clothes, and it's funny because calling them the beautiful people section, that's the right answer. And we got to go it. You would think we'd go to the other side, but there's literally nothing on the other side as far as things to go do or walk to go see. We're on the other side. We're in walking distance to several restaurants or whatever if we didn't want to drive. And we used to have a little putt-putt thing there, and we'd have the putt-putt of the universe, championship of the universe. Kent says more golf bats for Krister. You know what? I think he's going to come away with a few too. I'm in there. PGA show attendance. The question is, do you want to go? Well, and that's the thing. It's one of those things. It's it's with your head or with your heart, right? So if you go with your head or your heart, I like going there to see the Acra guys. It's always a good time. Robin gets to meet up with them at the end of the day, and it's always a good time. May not play worth a damn, but it's a good time. I like the demo day as long as the weather holds out. I like being able to walk around that 400-yard stuff to see what's just going on, and maybe even to, if I see some companies that I'd really like to work with, then a lot of their management is standing out there, and I just start up a conversation right there. And then I really like that because I had a media pass at one point. We go through there, and we got in early, and we left early, and we had the rest of the day to go wherever we wanted, relax, sit by the pool, whatever. And then the next day, I'm revved up. Now I'm revved up 100 mile an hour. Robin's just rolling her eyes in her head, going okay, and keeping me in check, literally, and so I don't buy everything. And then we go for that day, and then we sit down, and 9 times out of 10 we used to bring when we flew, we would take an extra suitcase, and we put all the tchotchkes that we would get in the suitcase and just throw them in there. And we got home, we'd go through them and say what we got and see if anything was worth keeping. And that was always a lot of fun. This time we're going to drive. Got a nice vehicle, so we're going to drive. Go see some friends probably, and that's thing. So we're still going between yes and no. So we'll see what the day brings. We've got everything scheduled. It's just a matter if we go or not. But I'd like, I think it's always fun. I get to take the cameras and we walk around, and it's fun. And we get to meet people. I don't know if I'm just feeding my own ego or whatever. We get there and we see some folks. Hey, seen you on YouTube. Yeah, okay, thanks. And it's a lot of fun to talk to those guys. Actually, I get to see some other YouTubers, and we get to talking about stuff. So it can be very informational. Here's Charlie talking to everybody. Matt says, hi, Charles. Long time no talk. Basketball is keeping him busy. I would imagine. It's that time. Okay, Krister says, new golf irons. We'll test his 620s and the T100s. Sold his T150s 2 months ago. My GT Wood should arrive in like 4 to 5 days. Oh. Well, let's see. I don't know if they got any new ones out there, but the 620s are going to be a hard contention against the T100s, I would think. Hey, my dog Rex says, throw them thumbs up, boys and girls. Appreciate it. Thank you. Ken, I thought I had a club collection. Krister has him beat. That's what I was just thinking here as I was testing all this. Check this out. Oh, my. So here's the first golf club. That's the Orca, and this is the RS1, I think, is what we did. And I actually had slight participation in the design. In that, there we go. Anyway, it's just a big old cavity back. It's forged and it's rounded because I told him I didn't like any edges, and the thing hits very, very well. Has the tour spec in it, 808 recoil that obviously still responds because it still hits pretty good. And then the next one was the new level 1102. This is when Eric still owned them, and that had a TGI the TGI in it. Hit that one pretty good. Then we made a leap into the OEMs, and I had a set of the 921, they're SELs, and that was of the tours. This was what the guy said was a Mizuno Pro and JPX clothing, and then this had a 105, a really cool 105, the black with the red label, and then of course red grip and red ferrules. And then the next one became the Callaway and the Rogue Pro with some TZ95s in them. And then the very last one that's in the bag currently is the Wilson Dynaforged. And that's where we're at. So we did the comparison. It'll be interesting to see how they fare out. All righty. Saying hi. Peter, going to the PGA show would be like going to a candy shop since I've never been to one. Yeah, that would be. It's fun to watch. I mean, if you've never been, at least the and we've taken some folks before. If you've never been, it really is a neat place to go visit. You're not going to buy anything off a shelf. You're not going to do any of that kind of stuff, but you can see what's coming, see what some trends would be, and that kind of stuff. And it's very, very interesting. Jack from a wet Lombard. Well, Jack, whatever you get, we end up getting the next day, so thanks. It's sprinkled a little bit. The temperature here is actually today was very nice. And but by Thursday, we're starting to talk about freezing stuff. Kirby, you're the man. Well, I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you. Robin talking back. And there's Matt saying, how's everything going? Krister has everyone beat. There is no doubt in my mind. No doubt in my mind. But he goes through them. If he got rid of the clubs as he's getting them, he's being very, very efficient, though. Travis K is watching in Jersey. What exit you off of, bud? Looks like Odyssey is getting in the target line balancing bandwagon with the new AI. Do you remember the old backstrike putter? They were doing it back then. Yeah, I do remember the backstrike, and I do remember it being like yucky. That's probably the most professional opinion I can give on it. But yeah, I did see that. Normally, Callaway doesn't like leaving a lot of people out there if they're they don't like leaving anybody not being in competition. And that's their decision. If it turns out to work, then that's a boon to the golfers because you're going to get recognizable models like Jailbirds or Model 7s or something along that lines that are going to have that same kind of balance in them and at a fraction of the lab putter price. So that's good for consumers, right? You go from a $600 down to a $300 putter. That's not bad, assuming that's what you like. I got the Mez. It's doing me pretty good. I think the one thing that Lab is doing that maybe Callaway is not, because I have not seen one. My rep has not come down yet. And is the grip. They have those grips that have the forced forward press in them. And I think that makes a huge, huge difference. Jack, when swing weighting irons, do all irons be the same, for example, or should there be a difference? They should be the same, Jack, in the irons, meaning anywhere, 4 through the pitch and a gap. When they start getting into sand wedge or lob wedge, then they're probably going to be different. Now, the gap wedge, if you're getting a regular gap wedge, like let's just say a Vokey gap wedge, then no, that's probably going to be a little. It won't be as heavy as the other two, but it still might be heavier than your normal set. So the answer to the question is, yeah, they need to be they don't need to be the same, but they should be the same within a swing weight point, one way or another. All righty. So, would you rather be in a tour van or play a top 100 course? For me, I'd rather hang in the van. Well, Emmanuel, I've been on several tour vans. I was on the Rifle Tour van, the Titleist Tour van, the Callaway Tour van, and the Wilson Tour van. And I think I'm going to be able to get on the Mizuno Tour van now, a van if I wanted to. Uh, it is a ton of fun. If you can get a good bantering back and forth, that is a very, 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 very small community, and it's very tight. It's a very tight community. Your first day there, you'd be like a stranger. After you've been there, and they realize that you're not there to try and get a whole bunch of freebies or whatever, then they'll treat you pretty good. But it's a good little group of people. Golf at Charles Golf. There we go. That says good to hear. All righty. That's one very green shaft, Jim. No wonder it's the last. Well, the shaft isn't the last. The shaft is plenty. That's in the GX. That's going to be around for a couple of years. But the head itself is what's going to be gone. They came with all kinds of different ones, but that's what fit him. I'm finding out that the Wilson head worked really good with some different aftermarket shafts, and some of them a little more expensive than the others. But the funny part is when you put them in there, they're still cheaper than a regular OEM. So you got might get a very expensive shaft, put in a Wilson head, still be less than a major OEM. So it works well. I'm kind of hoping that's going to happen here. But that's it. Yeah, but that green I do have to agree. The green is green. If I like green, I'd have to have like an all black head or an all something to go on there. Now I will say the new Wilson Dynapowers that are coming out, they are catching up. They're going to have 3 different kinds of models, and they're all going to look pretty doggone good. I just hope to heck that they perform as good as they look. Steven says the PGA show has a good demo day on Tuesday of that week, but outside of that, my last show was not all that great in 2020. Okay, I'm down with that. Yep, I bet Matt is just busier than all get out. This is their time. All righty, Robin. Hey, there's our kid Darla says let's get 50. I'd like to see that. I like to see that a lot. Matt Revlock says, yep, very busy with basketball. We're trying to find time to head down in 2025. Very cool. We'll be ready. Yep, let us know. Ryan Crow. Hey, Jim and Robin. Hope it's doing well. Finally got off work early enough to catch you live. I'm done playing outside for the year, so it'll be simulator golf until spring for him. Well, you know what? That's becoming a thing, right? I mean, we've had simulator golf around here. It's been a thing, but it's never been. I think this year, and when it starts getting really, really cold, that it's going to be very, very popular. Only because maybe there's a little bit more availability. And what I think was turning some folks off is the availability, not the fact that they didn't want to golf. That, if you, in my neck of the woods, of course, I'm very rural. If you wanted to go golfing, you really had to schedule out. And so the leisure of being able to go and say, hey, is there a tee time? Yep. Okay, I'll take it. Wasn't there. There you go. For some reason, it said my mic was unplugged. I love this technology. If I had a hammer, you wouldn't be hearing me at all. Uh, anyway, the simulators. are a very popular thing. I think that they're going to be very popular here going into the next year. I think it's really has to do with the availability. A lot more people have bought into them, so there's more availability, which means it's going to be easier for people to golf, and hopefully they'll enjoy it. My Cobra Pro MBs are 2008, and they still love them. Yeah. Oh, there's nothing wrong with you still loving them, Kent. It's the idea of will you find something that performs a little bit better or even feels better? Because I still, the funniest part about it is I still enjoy hitting the Orcas. Those things, I was ultra reliable with those things, and they still show up like that. They're just a full club shorter, probably. And when you get into my area, my neck of the woods in age, that length is important. I will need to. Yeah, there you go. Was just given a Mizuno 919 set, thinking of putting some MMT graphite shafts in them and gaming them for a while. You won't be disappointed. The 919s are okay. I think again, this is one of those cases where Mizuno just incrementally gets a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. 919s were great if you were a toe hitter because the blade lengths were so long. Seth Goddard, what do you say, sir? Thanks for pointing me. Thanks for pointing me to the channel. I'll be getting a hold of you for a driver fitting soon. Very cool. Well, stay on and learn. Listen to us talk. It's more of a family here than anything else. Kent, you haven't worn the grooves off those Cobras? I bet he has. I bet he has. He probably just pinching that ball even more, get it in there. Or that could be the reason why Deb is spanking him all the time, too. There we go. Rob is talking about the 9-iron is very dubious. There you go. Get that little tool and just start getting you some. Robin talking back. There we go. John Cherry, you may want to take a look at the Ping Glide series. They are nice. Ping Glides get they got a lot of popularity, right? They got a lot, my golf spy really liked them. I don't know if it's about bite or the way getting through the turf. And I believe Ping does go to these things, so we'll see about that. Yeah. He's probably worn a little bit. Don't let him kid you. He's probably got a little bitty pattern about that big around on that 9-iron, right smack dab in the center. Robin saying hello. That's the chappie. I've got some Wilson Staff CBs trying to fight their way into the bag. They're under snow for now. I'll have to wait a few. Yeah, the CBs are nice, dude. If you got a current set, those things hit very, very well. In fact, last year's hit very, very well. The current ones, very, very nice. Any gadget introductions at the PGA? So normally there are, Charlie, and that's what a lot of it is in the new inventors. They got it like in a new inventors area or new products area, and it could be anything from golf socks to alignment aids to a new type of golf cart to a new way to fix a divot. And like I said, I'm looking at it because it's right here. I wish I could show it to you. The dimple chair furniture, just all kinds of stuff and things to keep you balanced. Those are the kinds of things. But yeah, they're always tough. It's fun to see because they're new. They're full of energy and want to tell you everything about it, and it's really cool to see. I'm looking to see that the one thing I've always wanted to do that I've never done is they got Daphne's head covers and there's another head cover, and it depends on the time of year that you go, and they do custom head covers obviously, and every once in a while I spy the Star Trek, the original Enterprise Star Trek head cover for the driver. I always wanted to try and get one of those. That would be cool. Those staff, yeah, they are nice. Greg, I'm just starting to feel my toes now. First snow shoveling of the season. What? Took it time to look at warmer place in the winter. No doubt. Dude, I just hope it's not a huge winter this year. Greg Carter, what do you say? Greg says, hope it's all as well. It is. Thank you very much. And he says, how'd that shaft work out? Yeah, that's a good one. I need to drop that driver shaft off. Can I bring it down this evening? Yeah, oh, and this evening. What did you tell him? I would imagine the answer is no. I would watch every day. Well, there's one. I hope you're doing well. Have a great turkey day. I think we will. I'm not 100% on the shaft, Charlie. That's why I asked about the tip diameter. Need to get back into the Nippons. There you go. Yep. There's John. I may not see live work, but I watch everything posted. Well, thank you. Those chairs are the bomb. They are. They're very nice. I got one that's a pub green. Well, I call it pub green. The other one's white. Uh, those are definitely man room items. And I just got an email from them. They have golf ball size bar chairs. They're not real tall. They're just a thing. About the back end of it's probably about yay tall, and the regular seat with the dimples on the back. That's pretty cool. I'd like to see those. Herman, I'd watch definitely. Well, there's two. We're getting it up there. If it's a Bettinardi. Bettinardi's been making some leaps into the trying to be popular realm, and they've been doing quite a bit with not we'll say collaborations with different places. That's pretty cool. I like the Kool-Aid Man stuff that they were doing a while back. That was fun. But now they've got another one out there. I just saw where they're collaborating, and they normally attend as well. I usually replace when it forgets to swim. Ooh, Matt. Well, there's an old story. The guys at work will always pummel me on. And I was putting once, and it was with the world's cheapest putter, and I was not having a good day. And I threw the ball up, and I hit and went to go hit it, and I hit the ball, and the putter snapped off at the hosel. And I was like, so I had to spend the rest of the day either using a wedge or borrowing another lefty's. So, okay. Jim, last week I mentioned I build as a hobby dealing with companies close to home, GolfWorks, Value, GolfMark, have built from all. Didn't get to hear what your thought was when it went muted. There are some other ones out there. The GolfWorks folks make a really good golf club. All right, their irons are really, really good. Their drivers, for me, being a lefty, they really don't do a lot for lefties. They got one set and one set only. But the right-handed stuff, I guess, works pretty doggone good. Now, there's others. There was KZG's, Alpha, and Bang, and Washawn. If you're going to look for another company, Washawn is the place I would go first. They're out of the UK now, but if you buy in a certain amount, the shipping is just like it was coming from next door. I don't know how they figured out how to do it, but they're a really good bunch of people over there, and they're out of England and out of I think it's called Diamond Golf. They're basically the England's version of GolfWorks, and good folks, really, really good folks. And I would start up a conversation with them. The only ones the Monarch the Value Golf I'm not real familiar with. Monarch is okay, but they get into what I call they're lookalikes in a lot of cases, and I'm not a big lookalike guy. Although they're not copies or clones, but they're very, very close, and I just don't see that being very good for anybody. The ones that what I call OEDs, original equipment designs, are those folks that are like GolfWorks or Washawn or KZG or Alpha or something along that lines. Had 2 in 30 years. See, there's another putter snob. Welcome to the club, bud. There we go. What do you think of Odyssey's new square to square putters? Odyssey tried something similar with backstrike in the days. Now that's true, and the backstrike was just so funky looking, nobody would play with it, and it was because it was funky, and I guarantee you, it does not swing the same way that these new putters will. They figured out that if you go back about an inch, that you still get that same idea, and you get going through. Personally, I like the square to square. If it goes where you point it, no big deal. I just want to make sure that they said they're gonna if I saw it right, they're gonna put it on the jailbird. Let's see if this is following me again. Look at that crap. It's going to be in the jailbird. It's going to be in the double wide, and I believe it's going to be in the 7. So there's a couple of really good ones. The double wide looks even wider. To me, I would think that would be something to look into. And then the 7 is always going to be a good putter. That jailbird thing looks pretty cool. I don't know if I'm necessarily all about those stripes. I would like to see something in the way of a solid color, but hopefully they work. All right, Lawrence is on. How you doing, buddy? Shell the answer man. You're welcome, sir. Hola, there's Mr. P. How you doing down south? He brought to me and he got online. Well, good for him. Then it takes a little bit of weight off of you. All you're doing is putting it in. Hopefully, but I do hope he likes it because that is quite the pricey little endeavor. Hey, James Geiger, love the channel. Know it's off topic, but how much tungsten powder can you put down a ping 430 iron graphite shaft to increase the swing weight 5 grams? So that would be 10 grams of powder. Oh, I get what you're saying. It's 5 swing weight points and 10 grams of powder. Probably a little bit more than that, James, because you're not at the bottom of the head. All right. And I'm also not a fan of shoving powder down the graphite shaft either. Here's why. The end of the graphite shaft, even if it's an iron, they vary in the ID, their internal diameter. They vary. Some of them are very small. For instance, this KBS that I used. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, this KBS that I use in this guy right here. That thing has a very, 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 very small. Has a very small inside diameter. So, or if you were to throw 10 grams of tungsten down there, it might fill up this much of the shaft. Now you've got others that, like the I series, the interior diameter is much larger and only be a smaller portion of the shaft. All right, in order to go there. So now you got to fight. There's a couple of things going on. I think I'm just going to keep using. Let's use the Mizuno. You've seen that one. Let's use the new level because you've shown you every one of the other ones. Oh, barrel of monkeys here. Okay. Let's use this. Okay. So we got this guy. Man. Stop. Alrighty. So you got this one. So we're going to leave. It's not the head. It's in here. So the shaft goes into about right here. If you put a knot of glue in there, that means you've got it filled up inside there, maybe like that. All right. And so now you go to put 10 grams of tungsten down this thing. You could be anywhere from here to here to here, depending on the inside diameter of that particular shaft. And you got to work on that. So the further that this weight, what is going on? The further of this weight gets away from the bottom, the more that you need in order to get a swing weight proper. So if you were really looking to add that many, that's a lot of swing weight points, or that's a lot of weight. Don't get hung up on swing weight. So for instance, let's say you went from a steel shaft to a graphite shaft. and you went from like a 110 or 115, and you went to an 80. You go, oh my God, the swing weight's off. Yeah, it's because it's supposed to be, right? It's because you went to a lighter shaft. That is the functionality of doing that. And I'm here to tell you that if you go to try and make it the same, it will not feel the same. All right. So I would be very, very careful of that. And since you got the pings, what I would do is I would, before you start tinkering around with the weight that you can't get back out of there, is that take some lead tape on the ping and put it back in here somewhere. And just play around with the lead tape. Lead tape comes off easy, and it's very easy to clean with acetone to get the adhesive piece off of it. And just see how much you really, really have to add. And then think about putting it down there. Although I still don't like it, people have been very successful. I just don't recommend it. If you were really, if you found out you needed, to put a 4-gram weight in there, pull the shaft, put a tip weight on the end of it, put it back down in there, and then cut it back down. Or even cut the tip. What you can do is you take that 4-gram, take that amount that's on there, cut that little piece off, shove it back down in the club, make sure that it's nice and tight, and then start all over again. Your length would be just right. And now all of a sudden you got swing weight. Because the other part of this here, James, is you're getting ready to put 10 grams down that shaft. So if you go 5 swing weight points, you physically have made your club weaker by an entire flex. So you got to keep that in mind as well. Isn't the joys of building golf clubs? John, swing it. Hi, Krister. Hope your clubs arrive soon. You must be itching to get him on the monitor. I would say yes. David Rogers. Hello, Jim Rob. I was just wondering what the latest information about the new Dynamax Wilson irons that are coming out. Not Dynamax, but Dynapower. They're still with, well, there's going to be one they call a Max, but I took a look at them, and, Wilson is upping their game, okay? I think they're going to lose the slots, those power holes. I think it's going to be a more clean-looking iron head than before, although they were very nice to begin with. They were much better than the year before, to be sure, and now they're going to be even better looking. They won't be any stronger than they were before because I don't know how you could, but it's going to get more of a, because it was a very long blade length. It was a very long, very strong golf club. It'll still have a wider sole, and but the design on this thing looks to be really, really nice. There's Robin talking to Darla. EI-70 filament wound was an awesome shaft. I'll never know why True Temper discontinued that puppy. It was Kent, you were not wrong. The EI-70 was an immensely popular shaft. I don't know if it's just a rotation of their stock or what it was, but holy cow. Yeah, that was people really, really gravitated towards that one. Even they found a huge amount of success in those Titleist clubs. Yes, I do too. I really want to test that 8-degree driver. That's going to be fun. You better come out of the gates just smoking hot because you're getting it at the beginning of the year now, Krister, instead of at the end of the year. You go into your league or your contest or your tournament. You ought to be knowing exactly what that thing is going to do and be able to whoop up on them. Thanks for that. No problem. Anytime, bud. Talking of NASCAR, is Gene Need still doing putters? I don't know. I've not heard anything of Need putters for many years. Me either. I don't know. John Lamb, there's always some sort of new and improved gizmos at the PGA show. Yes, there always is. Otherwise, why go to the show, right? The last time I went, the folks from Yonex, had a shaft that said it had a double bend profile. But I don't mean by turning like a putter. I mean that there's 2 bend points in the putter. or in the shaft. And I was like, I don't know about that. And I said, nah. I thought about it for a minute, and Rob's like, nope. So yeah, let's try that. Nope. Ah, do I agree? No. And so that was the end of that one. There it is again. Let's see what that does. Oh yeah, Mondaire. Yeah, Mondaire is just that dude's crazy fun to be around, and we can talk golf equipment for days. He sends stuff to me every once in a while. He hasn't done it in a while, but he sends things to me and asks me for my opinion, and I'll give him a report. And he goes, "Well, there's way more than I wanted." I was like, "Well, you asked, I give it." I believe that they have an area that has the gizmos, and they do. James Geiger, by the way, Jim, on your recommendations on a few shows back, cut my driver length down from 45 to 44 and never hit it better. Well, good to hear. Good to hear. Who owns New Level now? I don't know the name of the guy, Mark. I just don't know the name of the guy. I've seen pictures of him on YouTube videos or quick shorts on them putting together the irons and whatnot. I don't know what the guy's background is. I don't know if he's an ex golfer or just some guy that saw an opportunity. I just don't know. I just don't know. And the fact, since Eric decided he was going to go away from guys selling components, although you can get older components off of the website, at least when he had it, I have not looked in several years. What's happened with New Lever, Jim? I see that their current Champions Tour, Charles Schwab. Yeah, I tell you what, was that guy's the Aussie? Ever since he's gone to New Level, has just had a phenomenal golfing career. It's just one of those things that you gain your confidence, and it's really hard not to like that. So good on him. I'm interested in that backstory. Yeah, I don't know. Well, I know why Eric sold it, because he was having medical issues, and he didn't think he was going to be able to keep up with the company, and so he ended up selling it off. When he sold it off, now he's taking his rest or whatever it is, and now he's trying to get back. I've seen some things where he, of all things, a golf towel designer company. So if you want something special on it, he could do that for you. I doubt that will last for very long, just because the kind of tinkerer that he is. I'd rather be in the van too, says John Lamb. More fun and usually a great learning opportunity. That is for sure. Last time we did it, I was that we were all out there. I was up at the NEC when it was still up at Firestone. We actually got to go play the North Course. Mark Patton, what do you say, buddy? Here Jay got up there and with some hot metals. He did. In fact, you tell him if you see him, he left his coat here, Mark. Yeah, we got him into it. I picked one out of the blue and I said, let's try this. And he instantly started hitting the clubs better. And I think a little bit of upright on the lie angle, and then finding the right weight. So what we're talking about is Mark's buddy Jay came up for a fitting this week, and uh, he had some older clubs in the bag, and so we said, okay, let's see what we can do. And he was showing me his swing, and he had a couple of swing flaws that we had to work out a little bit, and because he basically broken his ankle, and he was really still swinging like his ankle was broken. I said, "Is it hurt?" He goes, "No." I said, "So we got him turning ever so slightly, got him swinging through, and everything was a push because he wouldn't turn. Once we got him onto the turn, at the last handful of shots, he was actually seeing the left-hand side of the fairway instead of the right. That's always a good thing around here." Then we found that he really enjoyed the hot metal, and then it was a matter of finding the right weight. He was very weight sensitive, and then we found the right weight, and then the profile became a thing, and we just kept going back to the very first one. So I guessed it right on the first one. All right, what do you think of the new Garmin? I don't know, Krister, because I've never been there. Yeah, I know. I got it back. I got it back. Thank you for letting me know. How cool does it look, Krister? Also, yeah, it's like the full swing launch monitor. Okay, cool. Golf, the logical golf sim place has gotten a new TrackMan IOLM. Only thing, it does not register angle of attack. You can use whatever golf ball. You don't need to use RCT golf balls anymore. Cool. That's a neat one. Deb batters me because her handicap is dubious. I hope she's not watching. Can I still have an older set of king snakes? I think they're a copy of the king cobras. You are absolutely correct. They're very reliable, though just a tad shorter. That's kind of what I'm looking at with these orcas. I remember king snakes, John. They're definitely, yep, they were. We have snow dropping on Yorkshire right now. Oh, my. Forecast says we are getting 21 millimeters of snow on Thursday. So if I do my math correctly, that's about at least an inch of snow, I think, maybe. Let's see. 21 millimeters, 10 millimeters to a centimeter, 2 centimeters. Centimeters about a quarter of an inch, maybe a half inch of snow.
I'm cutting it.
You're cutting it. Yeah, we're almost done. Sam putting more on YouTube for RJB now. There you go. 200 meters of snow overnight. Ooh, that's a lot more than 21. Yeah. I thought KZG had gone to the wall, Jim. Well, they're still around. I've had a few calls from them looking for, hey, you interested on doing this or that? And I'm like, no, I'm not interested in that anymore. They grew to a spot and they made a left hand turn and went off the road. But it's unfortunate because it was some really nice product. I think there is a still warehouse of Wishawn clubs in the state where there is a company in Edmonton. You can get heads in a week. Okay. Well, I mean, you still had where Wishawn was in Colorado, John. Uh, I don't know if it's made it all the way there, but the way they describe it is if depending on the level of amount of stuff that you buy will determine your shipping costs. And if you buy basically, I don't know, 2 or 3 sets of irons or a couple sets of irons and a driver head or something like that, your shipping is extraordinarily reasonable. Yeah. It's too bad. There it is. Mark spoke to KZG a while back, and they did not want to work with guys that are club builders only. They want to work with fitters, preferably those based in commercial locations. Yep. Again, they're not doing nothing but choking themselves off, and so there it is. Because they want to build it themselves there, and Lord knows what they're building. Alan Pontier, what do you say, bud? Looking to replace my irons this off-season with some game improvement. I have a fitting coming soon, specifically Tour Edge Exotic and Wilson Dynapower. Any preference? Well, those couldn't be two more different types of golf clubs, Alan. Both are quality folks. It's been a while since I've dealt with. I want to give either company down the road because both are very nice, and my experience with Wilson is current, right? Where my experience with Tour Edge is not. And the Dynapower that's coming out, if you fit into that, you will not be disappointed. And I've said that, and Tour Edge makes a very nice iron. I just know more about the Wilson than the Tour Edge, and I would just have to go with them. Summer Haze, what do you say, buddy? I'll check with Sean's shaft profile in EI 70 and post it what I find. Love that EI when I had muscles there, no doubt. The famous LDS name you're carrying Yes. Uh, what did he buy it back? John, that'd be something to know. Did he buy it back? I'd like to know about that story. Robin, hi, Mark, missed you with the boys. Yes. She asked where you were. Sim's not big on them. I hate hitting off plastic. Good to keep your swing through the winter. Yeah, it depends on where the different mats and whatnot, right? There are some, if you get just like the regular floor mats, they're not very good. But if you get the ones that actually take hits into the turf, you can get close to simulated stuff, but not all the time. EI 70s are Washawn Black 85X and Aldila NVS 85X. Keep thing within the weight class of the I-70X. Okay. NVS, really? Okay. So the NVS would be there. All right. Shipping is $10 over 200. Look at Robin getting in on it, some of it. Nice. Hello, we're having chicken marsala tonight. That sounds awesome. I was going to use white wine, but drank the white wine, so we're having chicken. Well done. Well done, sir. That was a good one. I got to the bottom of my Buckner's 10 from Augusta. We're down to the bottom, guys and gals, and I appreciate all the comments. Phil, congratulations on your job. I'm glad that we could have helped. That's awesome. It really, really is. That's awesome to hear. Again, if you guys got any questions, put them in the show notes below. And don't forget the video coming out this week will be on irons through the years, right? Irons through the years. Again, guys, thank you for sticking around. Kent, thanks for staying up late. John, stay warm. All right. Charlie, you too, buddy. And as always, let's see your scores go low.